right, we are back. Last week of April. As always, we start off with the economic calendar for the week. Pretty packed, as you can see. Have a lot of foreign country news. To start off the week, we have JPYs, Japanese yens, interest rates. We also have Australia CPI numbers for the month and the year. We have Canadian dollars interest rates. We have our interest rates at FOMC. We also have Great British Pounds interest rates, Euros interest rates, Canada's GBP on Thursday, and our GDP's uh, employment cost index and core price indexes. So it's pretty packed for the last week of April's trading. So could be seeing a lot of manipulation going on. Headed to the charts, and since we are at the final week of April's trading, I want to gauge what could possibly occur to wrap up the end of the monthly candle. So we got the dollar. You can see after trading up above this short-term high here, we now have price trade above here. It doesn't look good. So we get price trading above this short-term high on the monthly chart. We now have seen it reverse and trade below previous month's low, leaving previous month's high and the quarterly high intact. So I want to now see, I think that this, with the trade above previous month's low, I think that we can now anticipate that this range's candle is done for the day. I don't think that it'll necessarily trade below the low established, nor will it trade be above the high. I think that it'll just consolidate within this range. Drop down to the weekly. As you can see, we already have opened up. This is the candle that is currently trading right now. We traded up into this wick, this candle's wick here, which I deem to be a breaker block on the lower time frame. And I'll drop that so that when we drop down to the lower time frame, it'll be much more obvious as to that level that I marked out. So we did have price gap up. It opened here after closing all the way down here last week. We see that price gapped up and now has been trading lower to begin the week so far. So again, I'm not expecting, if this is our range high, this is the high of April's candle, and this is the low of April's candle right here, that traded below previous month's low. I think that we will just meander inside of this range right now. So I don't anticipate too much to happen in the dollar. Already traded above previous week's high. Could potentially see if there is some strong movement in price. We could see a trade below previous week's low, and that would give an indication if we did close below previous week's low and possibly trade below the low established in the second week of April, then we could see that May will start off with strong bearish price run down into previous quarter's low. So that's something that we can anticipate. Dropping down into the daily, here we have that breaker block that I was outlining. That was the wick on the weekly time frame. This breaker block is the move that caused price to run up, accumulating this buy side liquidity, and then starting to trade lower from there. So I want to see if price Again, shows some willingness to get below previous week's low. If not this week, set up for a run for next week, targeting this low here, April's low. And that is what we have for the dollar. Still bearish. NASDAQ, as you can see, we got a strong reaction from this fair value gap. And now we see that price is closing, is trading higher on its high for the month. So in these scenarios, when it is bullish like this, we don't necessarily call it top in the market. We could probably see a bull run in the market for another leg higher. Another expansion phase is currently beginning right now. So we could see it run to 30,000. That is quite possible. You don't call it top in a bullish market, so you can just keep running essential. We have this week's candle already begun again, and it's already above previous week's high. We have this gap that has formed with the closing of last week's candle. We now have this gap, and we have this gap, which will be considered our breakaway gap. So if price does come back below previous week's low, we want to see that this gap here be the reason for, if it does, and when it does come back into this area, it will be the reason for higher prices as well, somewhere we can get bullish and look for hunt bullish setups as well inside this area once price does trade back into this bullish inefficiency. I don't want to mark it right now because don't necessarily need that on the chart, as long as we know what we're looking for. Let me see. Yeah, as long as we know what we're looking for. Moving to the daily. Again, no reason to call a top in the market. This point, just letting the market tell us when it wants to start trading lower. And right now there has been no indication that that is what it wants to do. So we're just, like I said, continuing to watch the expansion, looking for 27.5, which has already been traded to. Now we're looking for 28,000. 28,000 is the next target. So we're just looking for the round numbers to be traded to. That simple. ES, same. We now have, again, that strong bullish run from when price reacted down into this area right here. And we just want to see price continue to expand. Dropping down to the daily. As we see, this is, last week we saw a bit of consolidation within Friday's trading. Not this past Friday, but the Friday before last Friday. This range is what price was trading in throughout the entire week until pretty much Friday, when it broke above that high and closed. And now we have today's candle, which is currently expanding above Friday's high. Again, consolidation, expansion is the next price market phase that we're looking to see occur in price. So still bullish on ES. And because we are bullish in NASDAQ and ES, I would anticipate that with NASDAQ and ES being above their previous quarter's high and already trading at all-time highs, we can anticipate Dow to start to catch up to the other leading correlated assets and start to trade higher. Now I will be particularly interested to see how price trades to and what happens when it trades to this red area, this red line, as this is a short-term buy-side liquidity area, the last area of buy-side to be taken in the market before price reaches its all-time high once more. And depending on what happens here could be telling us to whether we can be fairly confident in the bullish run that is currently happening in the other two indexes. So right now, I think that the most, because we do have a draw on liquidity, we do have two draws on liquidity. The Dow will be the the asset that we will be looking for. I will be looking to hunt longs in, because I just actually have a target, whereas you don't know how far, ES and NASDAQ could run. And if you get a bullish setup, that's always good because um, you're just letting price run again to those whole numbers. But for these are areas in the market that we can look to the left as far as Dow's concerned. We can look to the left and see target areas that are definite in price. And so I think that this would be the asset that we will be looking. I would be looking to trade because I have definite targets from where we are right now, which is at 49,350. So we're looking for 50,285. And we are also looking for 272. We are also looking for previous quarter's high at 50,916. Moving on to gold. With gold's monthly chart, we essentially have a consolidated inside candle that has really no range to it, or a very small range to it. And I anticipate, excuse me, I anticipate that this range will essentially stay the same as well. I don't see anything happening, especially after last week's price action did not give, any indication as to where it wanted to go as well. Could possibly see this down, and we have this move here. We have here, 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 and now we could possibly start to see price start trading higher again, or we have here, 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 possibly here, and then go here again. With the buy side liquidity that has been, or the sell side liquidity that has been taken, this could be the engineering of buy side liquidity for price to come in May, open up in May, and start to trade lower as well. So that's something that could happen. Price is giving no indication as to what it wants to do, though. It's kind of hard to gauge what gold wants to do right now, so we just wait for more information. It's not really anything we can do. And with the last week, this being the last week of April, I don't expect, and I don't anticipate us getting any more information that will definitively tell us which direction prices want to go. We are currently in this fair value gap, which prices continuing to find support into. So we got support here, came back in, traded into it, found support again, and then we traded back into it again. And now it seems that we're finding more support. Conversely, when prices tried to trade higher, we have seen that prices ran into this volume imbalance once, twice, three times, and now this last time, now we are seeing some movement away, though we are still trapped in this order flow between this volume imbalance and this fair value gap. So until price breaks either two, this is just like an uncertain asset to trade or look for, setups in. Could easily just, find yourself on the wrong side. So moving on to silver, essentially the same thing that we're looking at with silver. See, we have no real range inside of this monthly candle. It has about 4 more days until it closes. Down to the weekly chart. Again, no clear and concise idea as to what price wants to do right now. We do have this low has been taken. So if this low be a taker, price has not distributed above, to offset these lows with some buy side liquidity, some buy side area. Just gotta wait until price gives more indication about what it wants to do. Oil, go to the monthly. We have this inside day here. So typically when you see an inside day, you can expect bullish prices or an expansion to start to show itself in price action in the next candle. I don't anticipate any the high or the low being traded to. I would ideally like for price to close bearish, so stay below the opening of this candle, and possibly see that we've already got, this shift in structure here, and price is trading higher. So I want to be targeting this high, targeting this high, and we could possibly see again. I don't want to see a close, or any close below or at previous or at this quarterly open, which is the second quarter's open, also April's open. If we're closing somewhere around here, that will bode well for May's price action to see price seek to trade higher into the previous quarter's high. So for now, 101, 102.11 is the target for the week. Possibly see what else we could get, but I don't see anything else. Brent could possibly see that run on the previous month's high, all-time highs. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, all-time highs. Could possibly see that show up this week. I think that's a good, yeah. It could be, or we could just have, price continue to move sideways as well. But again, we have that clear draw on liquidity as to what price could be seeking, and if we have a draw on liquidity, that's what we look for setups in line with that draw on liquidity. So we have that draw on liquidity. That is what we will be looking for. Previous month's high, as well as an intraday short-term high. That was crude oil. I've already taken it. So yeah, all we got left for act as a draw on liquidity is previous month's all-time highs. So that's what we're looking for. We already have gasoline futures above its all-time high. So we want to see price maintain its level above this all-time high, continue to keep trading higher. Moving on to Bitcoin, jot down Bitcoin's monthly candle is seeing some strong bullish momentum higher. Currently trading inside of this fair value gap here and here. I would like to see price hold the line here in this area, start to trade lower. I think that is a great idea to anticipate. Drop down to the weekly. Currently have already inside of this shaded purple box that we want to see some reaction from inside of this area, preferably closing below the dashed middle line of this shaded area to continue to support bearish prices. Ripple has not traded above its previous month's high like Bitcoin did. So we have a cracking correlation. Buy side is all the way up here. It is or previous week's high, buy side, and this high right here, buy side liquidity that we have for targets in the market. Price is still bullish in Bitcoin, while we have Ethereum has already traded above its previous month's high as well. Inside of this gap, we now can just wait for more information, honestly, see whether it wants to reverse from here or, it's starting to consolidate and then just trade higher, continue to go higher. Tesla, last week, we seen, especially Friday, seen the end of the undoing of all the progress being made in the first week or the second week of April. So we could possibly see Tesla start to come back lower again. Drop to the weekly. We still have this target of 298.46 in play in the market. And with this move up and then this move down, we're looking for some sort of indication as to what price wants to do. It's uncertain here, Tesla, after this strong rally higher and then this deep retracement of almost 50% of the previous week's range on this candle here. On the daily time frame, we see that price is traded into this gap. So we had Tesla trade back into this fair value gap area here. I want to see if it can get above pre-16 hours already trading, or not this pair. Tesla's market is not open yet. So we have last Friday's trading inside of this fair value gap. I want to see if price will give it a chance to develop some bullish setups to be able to take. Apple. Apple has already reached its range for the month and targets in previous month's high, previous month's low. That's not to say that we can't get a bullish run above Apple's weekly charts. We see price made that move up. Now it's taking out this area of buy side liquidity from February 23rd. Looking forward to that level there and possibly back at previous quarter's high, and then make the run on 288.35 is something that is also very promising, as long as the indexes, stock indexes, keep going up. Meta. Hard to get a read on Meta right now. We do have this inside candle that price created from last week's trading, and just waiting for more information now. We have this gap that price also traded into. I would love to see price get higher and seek out previous quarter's high. I think that is a valuable play. Google, same. Looking for all-time highs in Google. Looking for Nvidia in our stock options. Nvidia's stock is continuing to rise. It has not reached its all-time high just yet, but it is almost there. Same with this pair. Broadcom Inc. Not picking the top, but just continue to look for price. Show that they want to trade higher. Palantir, it's in a great spot. Think that it could become lower. I want for this to serve So I would love to see Palantir back below these lows, this low. I think that it could possibly turn out not to happen that way. This Netflix, look for a run below previous month's low down into this price gap that we have where no trading has occurred inside of here. I think it's safe to say that we can get that run below. In Netflix, BWEN, wait for more information now that it has runs this low, or this high here. Moving on to Super Microcomputer Incs. Looking for price to continue to trade higher. No reason to assume right now, unless using this entire imbalance as a reason as to why. And we have Invesco QQQ, which is the same as NASDAQ, and we are bullish, and SPY, which is ETS for S&P, and we're looking to get bullish, and the Spider Dow Jones ETFs as well. That's pretty much it right there.